Hello everyone, this is Cydaddy, and this is my first Little Big Planet 3 tutorial video, and today I will be showing you how to animate sprites in the way that I feel is the most visually pleasing and the most efficient. First off, a sprite is a two-dimensional image that is integrated into a larger scene, and I am not gonna lie, I totally looked up the definition. I just usually tell people like a 2D character in an old school video game, you know, like Mario is a sprite, Sonic, the Pokemon, their sprites, Metroid, a sprite. Anyways, I searched all over Little Big Planet forum and the forums, you know, LBP Central and Little Big Planetarium, stuff like that. Didn't find much about this topic of sprites, except somebody who described using a sequencer, and I'll go ahead and show you what my guy looks like. Man, smoking a pipe, and he's got a beard, and he's got a lot of creature features. Anyways, I'll actually show you what you're going to be able to do by the end of this video. And this is Professor Oak from the Game Boy Advance version of Game Boy, and or the Game Boy Advance version of Pokemon, sorry. And you know, I had to make him for this project that I'm doing, and so I figured I'd show you how I did it. And then you'll understand how you can do it with any sprite that you want to animate. Anyway, so this is. I set up this little test. This is what the guy was telling you to do with sequencers. And I actually, before I even read about that, I had tried this. And if you look, there's a little. It's glitchy, like a little. It's because whenever you start a sequencer, and this isn't. Not a lot of people know about this. But I've read it on the forum. I didn't even know the real reason. I just knew that it did this. But I read that it takes 0.0333 repeating seconds from when you tell a sequencer to start to when it actually starts. So it's actually giving you, that's actually one frame. So you're actually losing one frame. And that's what that little glitch is. So I was trying to think of a solution for this because I'm a perfectionist and I couldn't handle having my image just be glitchy. So the method I'm going to teach you, it's going to be several steps. Some are going to take a lot longer than others, but this will be a surefire way to make a clean, playable or non-playable 2D character sprite. I'm going to start off by showing you, you just pick a reference. Like if you want to. I mean, you can make these on your own, but I was trying to pick a specific reference. So what I did is I went to spritersresource.com, and there's all these different things to choose from: Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Gear, GameCube, NES, and Nintendo 64. I don't even know how those are sprites. I thought those were polygons or something. But anyways, so I click on the Game Boy Advance. Right, and I went down to Pokemon Fire Red, which my game I'm actually telling the story and only using the first 151 Pokemon from the original Game Boy games, like Pokemon Blue and Red and Yellow. But I'm using the graphics from the Game Boy Advance. So, anyways, I pull up this. You have all these categories to choose from. I clicked on NPCs, and it brings up all of these little tiny people. You can see them on the screen. Little tiny people. You get closer, you can kind of see them. But it says download this sheet, and then you download it. Alright, so that's what I've done here, over here, and I've zoomed in on it, as you can see. And now that I've zoomed in on it, if you're actually using a MacBook or just a Mac, you can probably. This is only open in preview. You can go to Tools and go to Magnifier, and it'll actually bring up this giant circle, which makes it where you can zoom really, really close on all these tiny people. And anyway, so this is Professor Oak. Right, so the next step that we're gonna do is we're gonna look at him and kind of pick what kind of different colors he has in him, and just kind of count all the different shades of colors that are in him. And you're gonna want to make a palette beforehand. So I got just sticker panel. That's what we're gonna make the palette out of, sticker panel. So you're gonna place, count how many colors he has and place that many little squares. Oh, by the way, we're gonna be doing all this pretty much on grid snap small, and angle snap to 90%, and a lot of it in front view, but just to make sure that things are on the back layer where we want them right now, and we don't want we want them to be a thin layer, not a thick layer, so they're a thin and on the back layer, which is actually the 17th. If you press R2, you'll see which layer your object's on. All in 17th. So anyways, Professor Oak has 14 different colors, and I actually have them all right here. But these make up all of his colors, and you can you know, say you want to find a color, you press square on your sticker panel, it'll bring up this little menu on the right. You got all these different things, but you can change his color, and then you can change it to a color, and then you can go to a certain brightness and actually find in between colors. So it's not just this little color wheel that you choose from, you can also change the brightness. So like, say if I wanted a blue, but I wanted it, you know, dark or something like that. Anyways, but since I already have all of his colors picked out, I'm gonna actually show you how I make one of these guys. Okay, so I'm gonna turn the camera around so you can kind of see what I'm seeing. And I'm gonna go over to Professor Oak. I'm just gonna go to, I want to do is just his regular standing picture. Where's that? Oh, it's over here. Just this one. And you can actually see it. Maybe if I turn the camera, you'll be able to see his colors a little better. But I'm going to try to show you how I make him as quick as I possibly can. And see, I'm just kind of, I usually start out with the darker colors first, you know, browns and black and dark grays and stuff like that, because you can kind of get an outline of them early on, and that helps out a lot. See, I chose this color for this. See, and see, I'm counting by looking at the blocks around where I'm going. So I'm at the left eye, and I'm saying it's 2 to the right, or 2 spaces, and then there's another block. Anyways, I'm just gonna kind of do this really quick. This takes some practice, but you can see when you've made a mistake, and you'll be able to correct it. I have faith in you. Okay, so I'm gonna keep making them. This is gonna take a few minutes. And see, this is actually one of the longer processes, especially because you have to do this with all 7 of his sprites. See, I think I've used all the black that I need. See, on what you're seeing, it's actually, there's a lot more black, so you can't even really tell. It pretty much, all the grays and all the browns look pretty black. But on the screen, I assure you, it looks totally different. You can go look this up yourself. spritersresource.com, or it's spriters-resource. Anyways, okay, so I'm gonna move on to this gray. And like I said, this is something you get better at. By the time you're on your last sprite, you probably do it in half the time it takes you to do the first 4. So I'm actually chugging along. I try to get rid of as many colors as I can so that I don't have to come back to them. But for that to happen, you have to make sure that you're on point and you're not putting colors where they don't belong. Sometimes I do that, and then I have to go back in and be like, that's not right. Okay. Another reason some of these colors look kind of crazy at first is because I try to pick a darker color, or a brighter color actually, than the regular color sometimes, just because in the next process we lose a little bit of that vibrancy because we have to take a picture of this, and I'll show you that in just a second. I'm almost done, I promise. And I see people are jumping in the broadcast. I appreciate you watching. Except for you made me just mess up, and I'll never forgive you. I'm just kidding. Okay. I believe that goes there, and then this one goes like right there. And that should be all of that color. And that should be all of that color. Okay. Let's see. Give him some little shoes. Which is also the color of his hair. Interesting. And some of the stuff actually kind of looks a little ridiculous until you zoom out, and then it just, like, at first, like right now it's just looking straight up like a bunch of squares, because that's what it is. But when you zoom out, you lose some of those hard edges, and it looks real. Kind of real. You know it's a person. That's what I'm trying to say. See, I believe... Oh, what in the world? How did I miss that? Why didn't you guys tell me? Okay, last, oh wait, do we need another color? We have 2 colors left. Last color. Okay, and I was just doing this to show you how I do this process. Okay, so that's 1 out of the 7 sprites, and he's all in that pretty, he looks real nice. Here, I'll go ahead and, I'm done with the computer now. Okay. Now that we're done with the pixel version, and which I already had one right here, we're going to go on to our next step. Grab your pixel guy and hold X, and you'll hear that's gluing all the pieces, and then when it glues those pieces, they're gluing to the next set of pixels that they can touch, and it kind of spreads among his body until all of them's glued together, like it is now. See, now he moves in one piece when I click him. Move them all at the same time. So what I'm going to do, which I'm getting a little... I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I was going to go ahead and tell you that the reason to save your color palette is there's a few reasons. One, so that you don't have to go in and try to find the same colors later on, because if they're off by just a percentage, or, well, maybe 2%, because, I mean, it doesn't look like much of a difference. Like, if you look at that square, oh wait, what was that, 52? I believe it was a 52, okay. Just 2 shades, doesn't really look like much, but when you have an animation, it'll make him look like he's flashing between that a little bit darker or a little bit lighter, and make him look like he's flashing whenever he's moving. And another thing is because saving your color palette, I found it helps with your thermometer. You have, like, 100 different shades of all those different colors, and if the game has to load 1,000 different colors, it's going to take a lot longer than if you have maybe 10 shades per every, kind of little thing. That'll be a lot less than a bajillion colors, because you can find a bunch of them. Some colors I actually feel like you can't find though, and you have to struggle sometimes to find colors. So saving your color palette, it helps on saving you time and your thermometer, which is pretty much the only thing that limits us on Little Big Planet. So what we're gonna do after we glued them down is, you can see all around the edge of the screen, and I hate this so much. There's like a shade. Oops. There's like this dark shade that goes around like a shadow almost, and that gets picked up in the pictures. And like, see if you have any amount of shade on him, then all of your pictures are going to be a little bit darker around the edges, or it could be different. You could have that edge darker, and it's really going to mess up your picture. So you want to make sure that he's in the complete white. Like, you see how this is, I lock my camera with R3. You can see how this right here is all gray, but this is pretty much white. This is a border. So get him about here, and I put him on this white background so that the picture is going to stand out, like the excess around him of the picture is going to stand out against this black, but I'll get to that in a second. Go to your stickers and decorations. Go to take a photo at the top. Okay, and then we're going to try to fit this box around him. And one reason I lock the camera, you don't have to, but one reason I do is because you can take a picture and you'll be in the freaking picture. And then when you go to use it in a minute, it will look ridiculous. So I lock my camera and I get out of the way. See, and then I try to fit this around him, and it takes a little bit of time. My controller does this weird thing where it, like, even when I'm not touching it, it slowly moves, kind of. I don't know if this is, I mean, it just seems to be a kind of a glitchy thing in this game. Like, you can see it, I'm not touching it right now, but over there on the left, it's moving. Like, look. Okay, so I'm gonna try to fit this box close around him. If you have a little bit of white on the edges, it's actually better than cutting a little bit off. So make sure that you just try to fit it around the edges. This takes patience. Oh. And I apologize. This is probably going to take a few of you longer than this, so I don't want to hear it. Sure, great. That's a good picture. It's a wonderful picture. Okay. Now, last thing before we can get rid of this pixel guy, because we're going to definitely get rid of him. And see, he's on the background layer. I have him all in a piece on the background layer, and these are also in the background layer. But I have their position in the layer set all the way back. So there's actually 20 different, see, I can do that. There's actually 20 different sub layers. Really, I feel like there's like 10, because it seems like sometimes only every 2 you'll actually get another layer. But anyway, so now what you do is you pull out a sticker panel, and I want you a new sticker panel, and take it all the way to the background layer. And this is going to be a thin layer. Take it all the way to the background layer, and then bring it up 1. And I want this thing to be able to fit around your sprite. After you put him on the black, it'll make it to where you can't see him. And then what I want you to do, go in here to the sticker panel. Now you're going to go down here, and for right now, okay, take the brightness down to 35 just for right now, and I'll explain why in a minute. Okay, turn the opacity right now to 0, but have it in take it out of preview mode. I've had mine in preview mode for a while. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is copy this sticker panel, place it, you copy it with L3, and then I place it with X. Now haven't backed out of it, but I'm pressing triangle to get rid of all of it but just 1 cube. And then we go in here, and if the you have to press L3, so you copy that as well. Okay, now I'm going to go around here and cut out around my pixel, my little pixel guy. And I think I did this, wait. I'm actually going to give me 1 second. I'm going to rewind this process just a little bit. gonna keep going. Because earlier I actually couldn't see the blacks of his pixel because it blended in with the background. And I know exactly why, because it's on a black background. So what I'm gonna do is, just for the time being, I'm gonna change this to red. Okay. Now, I'm going to cut out all around him. Sometimes I wish this was video so I could just edit that little part out. But it's a broadcast. What are you going to do? Nothing. There's nothing you can do. Okay, so you cut all this out around him. And you're going to get rid of the scraps after you're done too. All those little floaty things. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to change this back to black. I don't even know why I did that. Just turn the color all the way down. 100% darkness, or 0% brightness on any color is going to be black in this game. Okay, and since I already have a pixel version of Oak over here, I'm just going to get rid of him altogether. And I'm going to leave his sticker panel that we just cut out. Now I'm going to do the same thing with that. Well, actually it doesn't matter. The shadow doesn't matter right now. But you're going to turn it sideways, just like the picture you took. We're going to lock the camera. And then I'm going to do this the wrong way, just really quick. First off, you take it off of grid snap. That's the right thing to do at this point. And it's like the only time you take this whole thing off of grid snap. I'm going to throw it down there. See how I can't really see the background very well, like how I need to throw it down? Okay, well, one way to get around that is you pull out the sticker panel. You take it off so that you're not placing anyone down. Okay, go to your pop-it cursor and press X on the sticker panel. And then press circle twice, and that won't back you all the way out. If you backed all the way out to here and you're not in your pop-it menu, you messed up. So click X on it. Yeah. Okay, now back out twice to this. Go to stickers and decorations, and then just go to your sticker editor or whatever. Okay, and then you can, as you can see, that you can see the background through the picture now because of what you just did. Oh. Okay, and I'm gonna try. That is terrible. You're going to try to line this up with the least amount. Let's see. Hey, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty dang good. Okay, now what you're going to do is, for one, you can change the opacity all the way back up to 100. Okay. Okay, so the reason that I told you to turn the brightness down initially is because when you first put the sticker on there, it's going to be that freaking bright. So what you're going to do is turn it somewhere between 30 and 40 or 50 is probably a safe brightness. But what you can do is take it over to your pixelated version that you made and kind of adjust it. I think I chose 30. See, these are all the stickers. Yeah, these are all the original versions. The ones on the bottom and the ones up top are the sticker panel with one picture. And the reason I do this is because the game, it's a lot harder for it to recognize like, you know, hundreds and hundreds of pixels as opposed to, you know, such amount of pictures, you know, just 16 pictures as instead of, you know, 2,000 little cubes. So anyways, you're gonna go down and next to your pixel one and just find one that's as close as you can. And this is why I was saying use vibrant colors, because you can see that you lose a little bit of the life, but we're gonna bring it back to life and put it back on small, the grid snap to small. And since we lined the sticker panel up with the like on the grid, it's actually, you can almost see that the colors fall into the cubes pretty perfectly. A little off, but it's not going to be noticeable. Anyways, so after you have that, do that for all 7 of the sprites in this instance. And now what we're going to do with that is we're going to make 16 different animations. Well, not 16. We're going to make 12, I think. Anyway, so if you see, this is him with his left leg. If he's coming at you, this is his left leg being stuck out. So I want an animation where he has the other leg stuck out. And if you just do this, and I mean, you pick it up and then you hit R3, and then when I do it, you can actually see that it even looks like, if I press it over and over, it looks like he's starting to move. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to want another one of him. And I'll explain why in a second. Wait, actually, okay. Okay, and then like this guy, right here, he can be flipped too. We're gonna get the standing still animation, but you gotta match the hair on him. See how he's standing still and his hair's to the left? That's when he puts his right foot forward. Like he'll put his right foot forward and then he'll go back to standing still after he takes one step, he'll go to standing still. After he takes the step with the left foot, then he'll go back to standing still. But you just should match his hair up so his hair's not moving back and forth twice as fast, or because his hair will be like, you know, real crazy. You don't want that. It's a no good. Okay, so it seems we have. Okay, I need this standing still animation. And then if you see on the bottom, I made 7 pixel guys. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the reason that is because these 3 are actually, I'm gonna do this. These 4 can all just be flipped, and now you have his walking to the right animation. See what I'm saying? So when he's walking up, you're gonna see his back, and you're gonna see him taking a step from behind. This way, he's gonna be walking straight at you, taking a step. This way, he'll be walking left. This way, he'll be walking right. You get the picture. Okay. So now that we get to this point, we make sure we have 16. And let me catch up here on my little notes. Oh, okay. One more little tidbit. These right here, you're gonna want, you know, them all to have the same brightness, all to be at opacity 100%, and but this is the colors when they're on. The colors when they're off, you want the opacity to be 0. So that means that whenever they're not receiving a signal, they'll be invisible, 100% invisible. Okay. Now. Now after you complete all of this, you move on to the logic portion. And so the first step in this logic portion is to just make a square out of sticker panel, and I made one right here already. I made it invisible, the opacity invisible even when it's on, but you can still see it in play mode. When you hit preview, it's not there. So anyways, you want this sticker panel to be on the back layer, or really any layer, I believe. It shouldn't really matter. You want it to be, and see that's, oh, let me check right here. That's gonna get on my nerves. It seems like everybody's off the grid just a smidgen. Anyways, so you want this square. I don't know why it's so crazy bright right now. You want this square to not be as tall as him, but be as wide, and you want it to go to the bottom of his feet, pretty much. So about like this, what I'm showing you. Okay, and then we're gonna throw a controlinator on it, and let me move this over here. So here in a little bit we can do this process a little bit cleaner. Okay, this is the fun part of the logic. We're going to throw a controlinator down somewhere around the middle. Okay, this controlinator, we're going to change the settings on it. So press square on the controlinator. Go to disable pop-it controls, yes. Trigger radius, make it where the circle is about as wide as the square is. So I have mine 17. Layer range 16, automatically enter yes, because it's going to make it easier for you to just go in and out of it without having to press triangle every time. Invisible in play mode, no. You don't want to be able to see it when I do this. See how you can't see any of that? Okay, now, first thing you do on the controlinator is get a microchip out. There's going to be a lot of microchips. Not a whole lot. Okay, we're going to pull out 2 direction splitters. One up here, and I'll put one over here. And now I'm going to wire these. The left and right goes into this direction splitter, and the up and down goes into this direction splitter. Okay, and now what this is going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and hop in here just so I can show you, is, let me press play. When I press up, it's going to send a positive signal. Okay, so basically the one at the bottom right here is going to be for the up and down controls, and the one on the left is going to be for the left and right controls, because this is down and left. You know, it would make more sense to me putting this on the bottom and that on the side. So this is how we'll know. When I press up on the D-pad, it's going to give me a positive signal on the bottom. Down, it's going to give me a negative signal. Right, it's going to give me a positive signal on the top splitter, and left will give me a negative. Okay, so it's splitting the directions up into 2 different signals. Right and up are the positive signals, and down and left are negative. Let's see, we're gonna add some controls to where it's gonna favor when you press up and down over left and right, and you can do vice versa. You can make it to where it favors left and right over up and down. See, the problem is that sometimes you'll consciously or subconsciously accidentally press and I forgot to lock the camera. You'll press up and up and right at the same time, and it'll make you go diagonal. And in this case, we don't want to do that because it's going to confuse our sprite process. So we're going to make it favor one or the other. So when you're pressing up and right, it'll go up rather than go up and right. It doesn't get rid of all of the diagonal of our ability to move diagonal, but for the most part, it'll get rid of it. And so now I'm going to to make it favor, I'm going to get 2 AND gates. Just like this. And I'm going to get an OR gate. And I know this is a little crowded right now. I'm actually going to make my microchip a little bit bigger this time. There's not really a whole lot of processes to this, but to this microchip. Okay, so we're going to get this OR gate, and we're going to invert the output, which makes it what I like to call a neither gate. But the copyright is still pending. Anyway, so you plug in your left and right signals, which will be these, to the AND gates. And I'm going to plug them to the outside. Whoa. And then plug your neither gate in as the other option. So it's saying as long as neither the up or down signal, if neither up nor down are being pressed, then will allow you to send a left or right signal. Otherwise, it's going to send the up and down signal. Okay, so I'm just going to get another OR gate out right now and invert the output and give it 4 options. And then we're going to get a selector, give it 5 ports, and I'm doing this by pressing square, and you can do this before you even place the item. And then we're going to make it to where, see, this is our up and down. So we're going to take our positive, which would be when we press up, and we're going to put it into the first input. We're going to take when we press down and put it into the second input. Now, since our signals aren't coming from here for the left and right, they're coming from here. This is going to be, since the positive is when we press right, we're going to go up and follow this cord. It's going to be this one. That'll go into the third, and this goes into the fourth. Okay, now this NOT gate, or neither gate, And I know you're going to say it's an OR gate that's been inverted, but you don't have to be a jerk. We should all know what we're talking about here. Okay, we're going to put it here. This is so whenever we aren't pressing anything, it'll send it to this signal instead of saying that we're doing one of these other things. So what we're going to have to do is whenever we're not pressing neither up nor down nor right or left. Okay, now bring this back a little bit. We're going to what's the next thing that I do? I do this all the time. It's like so cool. Oh, okay, so we're gonna bring out another microchip. It's like the coolest thing ever. Bring out another microchip. We're gonna put 4 tags in this microchip. Just put one down right now. And we're gonna make this one okay. So if you look, and I'm gonna show you. I'll bring this down here a little bit now. Look over here at our controller, and if you look at your own controller, triangle is green, and that's up. That looks like up on the D-pad. It's at the top of the controller. So we're gonna say, whoops, green is gonna be when we are pressing up. Okay, so you put the label on it, green pressing up. We're going to do this for each of these. Circle is red. So we're going to make it red and do pressing right. Okay, and see I already have I have a lot of these saved, so it doesn't take that long. Okay, on this one we're going to do blue for X. And it's going to be when we press down. Okay. Now over here, we're going to do pink for square, because square is pink. It's totally a primary color. We're going to do this for pressing left. So if you ever get confused as to the colors or whatever, you don't even have to look at the name. You could just look down at your controller and be like, okay, well my square is pink and it's on the left, so it's probably left. Okay, so label that pressing left, pressing up. Now we got all these. Great. So what we're gonna do now is grab another microchip, and Alex, I'm gonna just tell you what to put down, and then after we do this, I'm gonna explain to you what we just did. What we just did. Put 3 timers down. And I'm actually gonna make this one look smaller just so you can kind of get an understanding. Wire this one's out. The first one's output to the second one's input, and make the second and third timers reset themselves. Okay, the first timer you're gonna want to put the. See, what do I have here? The first timer, target time of 0.1 second, put the input action to forwards, backwards. Okay, second timer. You're going to change the target time to 0.2 and have it set to positional. And then the third timer, you want to have that set to 0.1 second. And you're going to have it to start count up. Okay, now grab an OR gate and plug that into it. Also plug this one into it. And now we're going to get our first option, our first output from the selector, and plug it into both that timer and this timer. And they'll both drain and they'll stop. Okay. Whoops. Okay, we're going to take that OR gate and we are going to put it, I'm just going to put it right there for a second because I can't even see where we're putting it. Okay, we're going to put it, get rid of this little circuit node, we're going to put it in our top input. Because if you remember, and I'll show you, if you remember, when we press up, that gives a positive signal, right? On that direction splitter down there, and that direction splitter goes to our first input, which goes to these timers. And I'll show you what this does. Is whoops, gotta lock the camera. Okay, when I press up, when I tap it, it'll send a signal, but when I hold it, it will override that bottom one, and it will keep going. So like I can tap it once, and you'll take one step and then stop, or I can hold it and you'll keep stepping. And what this is going to do, is make it to where you have an automatic walk, which is really going to help out your thumbs, because you won't have to press like up 100 times just to reach the top of the map, and you can just simply hold it, which is the way old video games were. A lot of them is that you could just hold it, because nobody would want to press the D-pad a billion times. Your fingers would be raw. Okay, so now copy and paste 4 of these. As a matter of fact, I'll just do this so that they stay pretty clean. Now do your second output, put it in the second microchip, and what that's going to do is it's automatically going to connect it to both of those 2 timers. And then you see it's got this handy thing already on the outside. You're going to hook that into your down, which is blue, because that's the second output, is when you press down. Then hook this one up, and see, this one was right, I believe, when we press right. And then there's this to finish it off, and then we can just go ahead and test it out. We're going to press up, left, right, down. See, it's sending those signals off. Good. So, I believe we're done with that. And the reason that I'm going to be translating these signals from us pressing it is because we can actually press in between. We can press at a percentage. Like you can press 25% right and 75% up, and that'll make you go diagonal. But what I wanted to do, well, it wouldn't in this case, but what I wanted to do is send it to a 100% signal instead of you doing any percentages, because either this tag is 100% on or is 100% off. So either you're pressing up or you're pressing something else or nothing, but you're not going to press what I don't want you to. Okay, so once we completed this, we're ready for the next step, which is microchip time. And it's gonna open this up for us automatically. We don't need it that big, but let's do it like that. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're really gonna start to put all this together, and this is a more confusing part, but we're gonna grab our tag sensors, just one for right now. We're going to go in here. We're going to edit the maximum detection range to 0. And if you go all the way to the bottom, it'll actually go to infinite. So you go 1 up from the bottom, it'll be 0. Layer detection, 16. I don't know if that really matters. Detect tags in the same microchip. This is the important one. You have to change it to yes. Now, we're going to do, since it's green, we're going to detect when we're pressing up. You see that? Okay, and then the rest we can leave the same. Now go down a little bit to about there, and change this one to blue. See, I just look down at my controller to see that X is blue, and that's when we're pressing down. Okay, and go to the next one. Red, that's pressing right. Okay, and then pink, and that's pressing left. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Okay, now we're gonna get. Let's see. Now we're gonna get a selector out, and we're gonna give it 2 ports. Right, and this is gonna make it to where we can select between his left foot going out and his right foot going out. Or yeah, his left foot and his right foot going out. Okay, so we're gonna give one to each of our tag sensors. I'm gonna actually kind of bring them a little closer. And we're going to wire these up like this to where they cycle. Whenever it realizes, or whenever it recognizes the tag, it will cycle through the left foot and the right foot for each of the different animations. Now, go to the AND gates. We need to give 2 to each of these, and I'm putting them a little bit too close. So I'm going to scoot it back just a tad. Okay, now do it just like this. Connect them to the inside so it's a little bit more nice and neat. Okay, and then the other input needs to be from your tag sensors. So, because the selector, it always gives a signal, so you don't want it to always be telling it to put out, you know, a picture of it walking up with its front leg or its left leg out. You know what I mean? So you want to make it to where there's another condition. So when you're actually pressing it, the direction, then it'll also, you know, it'll do that direction. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is take out a selector, and this is gonna be Big Daddy selector with 16 ports. Oh yeah, 16 big old ports. And then we need a microchip. And then inside of this microchip we need a microchip. Mind blown. And then we need a timer. And we'll get to all this in 1 second. Well, no, okay. Go ahead and make your timer 0.1 seconds. Make it start count up. Bring your microchip a little bit closer. And then, let's see, since this is going to be, we're going to need one of these microchips for when you're for each direction that you're pressing. So you're going to get whatever directions you aren't going to be pressing and bring those tag sensors into the mini microchip within a microchip within a microchip. Right? And then inside of here we're going to put an OR gate. And what this is going to do, well, we're going to put four inputs. And wire this up like this. Okay, and then wire this to the bottom of your timer. And these are going to be the reasons that it gets reset. And I'll tell you the other reason in just a second. Okay, so whenever we're pressing up and it's on the first cycle, it's going to go to the first selector input. Input 1. And all the AND gates are going to go to all of the odd numbers. So this will go to, that one goes to 1, this one goes to 3, this one goes to 5, and then 7, and 9, and 11, 13, and 15. Okay. Now, let me minimize this real quick. Now what we're going to do is these are all going to go to our different sprites. But what it's also going to do is, okay, so it's going to, when we press up, it's going to have the up condition being met, and it's also going to have one of these being met. So what it's going to do is it's going to send a signal, and it's going to activate this one. One of these will always be activated, and that's good because it'll mean whenever you stop pressing a button, your sprite will be standing still. And also it makes it, a selector makes it to where you can't show or you can't have two outputs at the same time, so it'll always only be showing one of the 16 different sprites. Pretty much is what a selector does, unless if you inhibit it by or prohibit it by that. Anyway, so it's going to send a signal over here, and what we're going to do is we want it to go to the picture, but we also want it to go to this timer, and it's going to wait 0.1 seconds, and then it's going to go to the second input, which is going to show our second picture. So it's going to show a picture for 0.1 second and then go to the next picture. And so what you also want, okay, so I'm going to show you the other condition that you want to reset this to where it won't show a picture. which the other condition that you want is if the opposite, the opposite out selection is being played. So this AND gate, the second AND gate, is going to reset the first AND gate's timer. It's going to go, it's going to go right here. And I'll show you in 1 second what I'm talking about. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Okay. Now, the third output is going to go into the other timer, and then its output is going to go into selector input 4. Okay, and I'm going to move this up a little bit. And so what this is going to do is selector input 4 is being played, but the other condition we need, and I believe we can just wire it straight to the outside, is this. And what this is going to do is it's going to make a crisscross of the wires right here, and that's a way to know that you actually did it right. Even though it looks kind of crisscross, that's the right thing to do. So look for those wires, make sure that they go to these microchips, and you should be good. Now, we're going to copy this whole thing and bring it down. But a few things have to change. Not much, but a few things do. Now we're going to be pressing down, so we need to get rid of this one and change it to pressing up. So when you're pressing up, it's not going to play any of the pressing down animations. Right? Okay. Now we're going to make it to where this AND gate goes straight across and into our top timer. And then the top timer goes into the very next input right under that AND gate. Okay, and we leave the odd numbers blank for right now, or we leave the even numbers blank for right now, the even outputs. Okay, so output 7 goes into this timer right there, and then it goes, that timer's output goes into input 8. And then we're going to crisscross, remember? The top AND gate resets the bottom microchip, and the bottom AND gate resets the top. That's correct. See how it crisscrosses? That's good. Except for I didn't change this tag sensor to up. Pressing up and green. But now that I do that, that one looks good. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that signal because I don't like it. Even though it'll reset itself anyways. So, okay. Now, this time we're going to be pressing right, so we're going to get rid of the red one and replace it with the blue pressing down. And if I'm picking up speed and getting ahead of you guys, you can always pause and go back. I'm sorry, but kind of trying to blast through it now. We're going to change this to blue and pressing down. And then see, this top AND gate goes to output 9, which goes into our top microchip, or our top timer, and its output goes into input 10. Then output 11 goes into our second timer, and that output goes to 12. Okay, and then don't forget to crisscross. This one, top one resets the bottom one, and the bottom one resets the top one. Okay. Last one. This time we're going to be pressing left, so we're going to get rid of this and do pressing down. Yep. Pressing down. Okay. And let's see. This one, if you follow this cord, comes out 13. Output of 13 goes in to the timer, and then out, and then to 14. Okay, 15 goes into the second timer, and then that timer's output goes into 16. And then don't forget to crisscross. Okay. And at this point in time, you can kind of celebrate because you have the hard part out of the way. If everything's correct, you have the hard part out of the way. And you'll see. Well, I'll get in it right now. We're gonna hop in it right now. Okay. When I press up, when I just tap up, it's gonna cycle 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, because the up direction is associated with inputs and outputs 1 through 4. Down is 5 through 8. Right is 9 through 12, and then left would be 13 through 16. Okay, so when I press up, just tap it. It'll do that. Like I said, if I hold it, then it'll go right through them all, like as if I was running. But if I just tap it, he'll just take one step and stop. It's nice. You'll see. When I press down, it should do those. When I press right, it should do those 4, and when I press left, it'll do those 4. Great. Now, the next part. Okay, so we're going to get all of our sprites, and we're going to go the top animation. The odd numbers, you always want to be them with their legs out, and the even numbers, because remember, after the timer goes off, it sends it to an even number. You'll see it always, like I'll hop in real quick, it will always stop on an even number on the input. Like, see, that's 2, that's 4, that's 6, that's 8. See what I'm saying? It'll always stop on an even number, and you want that to be like, you want to stop with your guy standing and not with his leg out like he's in mid-stride. It just looks a lot better that way. Okay, so we tried it out, and we're just gonna hook it up to our sprites, but we're gonna get them a little organized first. And Fredian99, thanks for the friend request. Hopefully we can play sometime. Let's see, now we just hook up our sprites. We just want to see which order we want in. So the odd numbers we're going to put with us taking a step. And up, when we press up, we're going to see his back. So he's going to be walking away from us. So the first thing we're going to do is maybe his right foot forwards. Right foot forwards. So that's him with his right foot. And then we'll do all of the odd ones, or the even ones, to his standing still animations. Okay. And if you don't let go of the cord when you go back, you can actually see really quickly which one's the next one you need to grab. We're going to do, oh, here's his left foot. Okay. And then the fourth, it's going to be him standing still again. Okay. And I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. I'm going to go down here. When you're the controlinator, you can press options and then go to preview. You can't press L3 to just go to the preview automatically. So I'm going to press up, and you'll see it's going. We're going to fix this in a minute. But anyways, take it out of preview. Hop out of the controlinator with R3 and unlock the camera. Okay, so now we want our down animation. So the first one is going to be, well, we'll just always do his right foot forward. So he's putting his right foot forwards and he's walking. And he's walking down, so he's going to be looking at you. So we're going to do this one. And then I'll keep a hold of my wire. Oops. Maybe I shouldn't have. No. Okay. We're going to grab this one. I'm pretty sure this is the next one. Put it on there. So this should be 7. Yes. Okay. We're going to put it on his other foot forward. Okay. So now we're gonna go to his walking right animations. So he's walking right. So look, that looks like his right foot forward. And then we gotta get one of him standing still and looking right. So that one. Now his left foot. He's got a weird looking foot sometimes. Okay. And you can see as I'm hooking them up that they're going invisible, like and if I actually go into preview, they are invisible completely. That's because, remember earlier when I had you make the sticker panel, I was making it to where the color when off is, or the opacity when it's turned off is 0, so it's invisible when it's turned off. See, right foot forward on his walking left animation, standing still. Next foot. Looks like he's left. Oops. Okay. Now we have them all wired up. Now what you're gonna do is grab them and kind of, I'm gonna just kind of do it by section. You're gonna kind of combine them to where they look like they match up the best. Kind of center them a little bit. Line up their head. The side ones are ones where they're walking to the left and right are a little bit harder than the up and down ones, because the up and down ones you can line them up with their ears a lot of time, because it's something that doesn't change very much. I don't change where my ears are very often. Maybe once a year I'll change where my ears are. It's a joke. Anyway, so we're lining them up, stacking them on top of each other, and that's a good thing with sticker panels. You can just overlap the crap out of it. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on my notes to make sure I don't forget something, because I swear I probably have forgot a little bit. I mean, if you watch what I'm doing, you'll you'll see. If you did exactly what I did right in this video, this will all work out. But I try to explain what I'm doing just so that it makes sense to people, hopefully. I mean, after you start doing it, you'll learn, and hopefully you can start out with this method and improve on it, because this is, I've animated a sprite in like 3 different ways, but I feel like this is the most efficient and the one that I can understand the best so far. So this is Sprite Animation 3.0. The best. It's not the best. I'm sure you can do better. This is just a little time consuming, but we're going to stack them all together. We're so close to being done, it's going to be exciting. Or I'm excited right now. It's not going to be exciting, it's already exciting. I'm going to stack these all together, and that looks good. That's about the closest we can get it. And now I'm going to lock my camera, throw it in preview mode, and hop in the controlinator, and we're going to get a little taste. If everything worked out right. Oh, look at him go. I mean, he's not moving, but look at him run in place. He looks so good. See, if I tap it, he takes 1 step. Oh, you can see it. Right foot, left foot, right foot. Right foot, left foot, right foot. See? I really like that animation. Even though his head looks really weird, he looks kind of like a South Park character or something. Not like that, but more like this. Anyways, so that is how you animate a sprite, but we are not exactly done yet. What I want you to do is grab them and hold X, and what that'll do, you heard that sound, so now you can move them in one chunk. And I want you to get a follower, which is not up there, it's down here somewhere. Okay, and then kind of try to put it in the middle. And turn the speed up to 100, the strength, the acceleration up to 100, detection range, that's fine, layer detection, allow, I don't think any of those other things matter, except for right here. Instead of follow character, you follow tag, and just pick a tag that you're not using. I'm going to pick gold. You don't need to name it, and just go in here, grab this, and just make a gold tag. And now what this is going to do is if it's just in a certain amount of, oh, boom, hopped over there real quick. Now what I want to do, oh, that's not what I want to do. Nothing like that at all. What I want to do, I'm going to bring this in front of the others so that I'm sticking this controlator down on it. Because I want to move my controlator up, okay, till about right there. And I'm actually going to extend this square a little bit and bring it down. You want your square to go around the outside edges of him, not the top, but you want it to go right at his feet and right at the outside edges. That's when you'll have the best control later on, especially if you're trying to do like border detection and stuff like that, boundaries, which I can put out a tutorial on that. I'd love to. It's kind of annoying, something I struggle with. So whenever you're ready to make your sprite move, see, we can look at him. He's looking real nice. And you can see little imperfections in his face, and that's because of the picture process. He's not in pixels anymore, so it actually kind of blends him, and you lose a little bit of resolution. But from far away, the further the better. I mean, he looks really nice from far away, which that's not necessarily a good thing. But anyway, so whenever you're ready to make a move, there's plenty of different ways to do it. But I'm going to teach you the way that I think makes him move more authentic feeling to the way that old school video games did, and that is by I'm going to get one of each of our tag sensors. See, this is going to be up and down, so I'll keep those together. This will be left and right, so I'll keep these together. Okay, and we're going to go into a very old microchip, something we made probably 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. We're going to go inside of that one, go into the microchip where the tags are, and just click and press L3 and copy and paste one of those timer microchips with the 3 timers inside of it. Okay, and the only thing we're going to change about these is this second timer. We're going to change the target time to 0.1 seconds. And so we're going to make it to where every 0.1 second he moves, which means every input on the selector. So whenever he takes a step, he moves just for 0.1 second, as long as it shows the picture, which is going to look really cool. It's going to look like he's moving as he's taking a step, like you would, you know. Anyway, so wire your tag sensors as the input of these timers. Whoa, do not know how that happened. Sure, I'll do that. No, dang it. Okay, we're just gonna do this. Okay. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we need to get direction combiners. 2 of them. And then we need an advanced mover. Right? Here, I'm going to move these up a little bit just so it's not as crowded down here. And this is our up and down. I wish I could swap that. This is our up and down. Remember this is when we're pressing up, it's going to send a positive signal, because up, when you press up on the D-pad, it sends a positive signal. Okay, and then down will be our negative signal. Right is going to be our positive, and left is our other negative. Down and left are negative, right and up are positive. Just try to remember that. And then the reason we're combining the 2 different signals into, or the 4 different signals into 2, is because the advanced mover only understands up and down and left and right. It doesn't understand each one individually. So we're going to take the left and right output and put it into the input of the advanced mover called left and right speed. Same thing goes for this one, the up and down speed. And now go into the advanced mover, change the acceleration to 100 and the deceleration to 100. Now I would say the best speed is anywhere between 30 and 50. I mean, you can tweak it, but I'm going to keep this at 40, and I just think this looks more authentic to how a old school video game character might move. So we're gonna drop into it in preview, and let's see if she goes. Oh, I gotta unpause it first. Oh, look at him. I said she. It's Professor Oak. Duh, look at his wavy hair. He's whipping his hair back and forth as he walks like a boss. Look at him go. Just look at him. And I hope that I helped you guys out with this. And yay, we animated a sprite. This is Professor Oak, and I can put him in my Pokemon level. Let's see, I'll just go ahead and save. So hopefully this is a good enough tutorial for you guys. I don't have to do it again. But hopefully, I mean, I plan on uploading several tutorial videos in the future, and if you guys would like and subscribe, that would be awesome. I would definitely put out more videos if I had some fans. But I hope that I helped anybody out there who's looking for information on this subject, or just looking for ideas or better knowledge of Little Big Planet. And hopefully you guys can use this info and make some brilliant retro style games for me to play. And I'll show you the level I'm working on right now. Again, my name is Cydaddy, and until next time, I guess everybody have a good one. Ooh. That's also a sprite. I'll teach you guys how to do that some other time. Alright. Until next time, everybody have a good one.